Hey LeGrand Alive, this is your weekly news roundup brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital and anything2digital.com. I met Fred Hill in 2011. I was contacted by Eric Valentine about doing a video about Fred, or I guess rather, about a pre-death memorial that he and George Venn were holding for Fred. I agreed, I went, and I met Fred, and in perfect Fred style, the first thing he did was tell me a joke. I can't really remember what the joke was, probably something about my camera equipment or me being a tall drink of water. But what I do remember is chuckling a little bit, not quite knowing what to do with this small, smiling old man who everyone thought was so darn cool and apparently was a really great photographer. Fred died this weekend. I've heard about it from multiple places from multiple people. From Stacy at US Bank, where Frank would help give out cookies every Friday. From Brent Clapp, who had had conversations with him about photography and video and wanted desperately to do an interview with him, but now will never get the chance. From Margaret down at Direct Music, who went to church with him, who smiled when she talked about him. From the feature in The Observer. Fred was well loved in this community, so we here at LeGrand Alive thought it might be nice to do a little memorial interview with Eric Valentine, one of his closest friends and a fellow photographer, to mourn the loss and to celebrate his life.
A historian for the Oregon National Guard once asked Fred, if you could leave one thought from your 2 years in the Pacific during World War II, what would they be? And Fred responded as follows: faith in the living God and the right mental attitude toward the job that had to be done. He expanded on this attitude. We were in a place that was gorgeous. Sure, there were bugs and mildew and mud, but we would never get there again. Instead of complaining, we got out there and enjoyed it. This is the now. Live in it. And Fred is certainly an individual who very deeply and fully represented living in the now.
To see the rest of the memorial interview, complete with pictures of Fred's, check out legrandalive.tv tomorrow. They found a pipe bomb in Wallawa Lake. Apparently, last Friday morning, some divers were swimming around in the lake and found what looked like a pipe bomb. And in fact, it was a real-life pipe bomb. The bomb was taken off-site and detonated. They think maybe some kids put it together. But the most interesting thing about this whole situation for me is that this isn't really abnormal. Apparently, people find these kinds of small explosives in random locations all the time. Generally, they come from past mining operations. Go figure. So if you're randomly walking around your property one day, looking at the flowers, smelling the fresh cut grass, and you casually step on anything that looks like a pipe bomb, it very well might be. Don't pick it up and shake it or give it to your dog as a chew toy. And certainly don't throw it in a public lake. And speaking of pipes, Union is trying to get rid of all of its pot. Dear Lord, first the deer and now all the pot. Over 200 members of the community have signed a petition. Union really likes their petitions, and apparently there were like 40 more signatures that were actually necessary to make the petition into a ballot. They just went door to door and got people to sign the petition. Now, if passed, this petition-turned ballot would ban the sale, production, and processing of all marijuana in Union for recreational purposes. The next step is for the petition to be processed by the City of Union and then to be sent to the county clerk's office, where it will become a ballot measure. Now, I'm not a pothead myself, but I do feel bad for the people growing it. On one hand, they have all the deer eating their crops. Then the city comes after them and tries to take their pot gardens away too. It's a hard life for a recreational grower. I wonder what a stoned deer acts like. Anyways, all that aside, what do you think, LeGrand Alive? Do you think that the pot should be banned in Union or elsewhere? What level should individual cities or towns have to be able to deny a larger ordinance or legalization? Is it really solving the problem if there's still medical growers in the city limits? Is there a better way of dealing with pot than banning it outright? Or is this the right way to go? But Union County isn't the only ones that are worried about people blazing. As of tomorrow, Friday, August 28th at 12:01 a.m., new fire restrictions will be in effect. As everyone knows, excuse me, it's getting hot outside, and with that comes more fires not of cannabinoid origins. Think 1,000-acre fires that burn down houses and forests. And the Oregon Department of Forestry is instituting tight strictures, including prohibitions on campfires, circle fires, cooking fires, warming fires, debris burning, smoking while traveling, except on vehicles on paved roads, non-industrial chainsaw use during certain times of the day, cutting, grinding, and welding metal outside during those same times of day, fireworks, exploding targets, tracer ammunition, and anything else that could cause a big burn. If it can start a fire, don't use it, or at least make sure that when you do use it, you're falling under the new ODF guidelines. As the union potheads always say, don't toke unless you're on a concrete road. If the union pitchforks don't get you, the Oregon Department of Forestry certainly will. All right, what's going on this week? Well, the LHS class of 1947 and 1946 are getting lunch together at the Flying J Thursday at noon. Also, what is holistic grazing? Well, if you don't know, the Blue Mountain Conservancy will explain it to you tonight, Thursday, at 7 p.m. at Cook Memorial Library. This Saturday, Art Center East is offering a new class called The Art of Gold Panning, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. for anyone 7 or older. It's $70 for general admission. They have to buy the gold somehow. Also, this weekend, the City of Cove is having a barbecue Sunday at 1 p.m. All you residents are invited to bring your family and friends to eat food and have fun. Also at Art Center East, every Wednesday there's an art class for kids ages 3 to 5 at 11 a.m. that explores various art mediums and gives kids and their parents a chance to connect. And last, the Oregon Senior Health Insurance Benefit Assistance Program is providing free classes about Medicare. People are going to find out exactly how to get involved with Medicare and how to get it in their particular community. In sports, the 10U LeGrand All-Stars softball team won 1 of 2 this weekend, losing first 12-5 to Clackamas on Saturday, but rallying Sunday against Beaumont to win 6-1. Then Monday, they beat West Salem 11-5, putting them tied with Clackamas and Beaumont in the tournament. But that was it for the All-Stars. Because they tied with those 2 other teams, they were disqualified from continuing on. I remember one time in high school, my hockey team beat one of our rival teams we'd been losing to for years. I was the goalie. I had like 90 saves in the game to the other goalies maybe like 10. The game was intense and we were super ecstatic after beating them. However, despite our win, we still tied in the tournament win-loss numbers with that team, leaving us down and out because of our regular season scoring record and out for the rest of the tournament. They continued on, eventually winning the tournament, and we went home. It was super frustrating and it was a really sad day for all of us. I remember sitting in the locker room with my hand in my big sweaty goalie mitt, kind of crying a little bit. So All-Stars, I feel your pain. But it's okay. Life isn't over. Someday you might still end up a washed-up small-town news star exactly like me. The LeGrand A Legacy Ford Legends, however, did not have a disappointing weekend, beating Pendleton twice last Friday and taking district championships. They beat them first 16-2, then finished them off 7-1 right afterwards. On Wednesday, they moved to state championships, but state wasn't nearly as genial for them. They lost 2 games in a row against Wallawa, Washington, 10-6 in the first game and in the second game 9-3. However, what the A team lost, the 16U Legends picked up, beating Wallawa twice on Wednesday, 8-3 and 15-11. The next game for the A's is all the way next Thursday and at the Walla Walla tournament, but the 16Us will play again this Friday at the Baker tournament. And last, and probably not least, we here at LeGrand Alive are gearing up for our streaming of the LeGrand High School football live streaming season. Essentially, we're going to be streaming all the high school football games, both home and away, so that relatives and family members can watch their little tykes play from far, far away. We're looking for businesses and individuals to help us sponsor it. So if you're interested, call us here at Brent Clapp Media Services and we'll get you all set up to be a bona fide LGA sponsor for the LHS football season. And that's your weekly news roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Grand Run Hospital and anythingtodigital.com. Be sure to stay tuned for more local content and another news roundup next week. I'm Will Bowman.